After I posted my EA video a day later than I wanted to because of home life issues, a hidden shadow made me aware of the fact that one of the devs, supposed devs, Bigg, turned out to be a complete and absolute fraud.
Douche chill.
In a hard-hitting article from Jason Schreier at Kotaku, one of the few Kotaku people you can read an article from that isn't taking the absolute piss. It's called The Curious Case of the EA Dev Who Said He Received Death Threats. Now, you may remember Bigg because I talked about him. You probably saw him all over other websites, claiming he had up to 7 death threats and over 1,600 cases of being called a cuck. And in this instance, he deserves to be called a cuck, because this guy is an uber douchebag. Who knew that game developing was such a luxurious and fabulous thing that everybody wanted to be a part of it? You know how some guys fantasize about being cops, some guys fantasize about being firemen. Bigg fantasized about being another cog in the fucking wheel. Can you believe this shit? This is the type of guy who you might know in your personal life. When I was a kid and I worked at Walmart, there's this one fucking manager who had a hard-on for the police dude. Every time the cops came to Walmart, he would wait outside with them and talk to them and stand around with his fake cop belt where he used to hold on to his goddamn walkie-talkie, pretending he was important and a powerful man that made moves on the scene and kept stuff from being stolen. When in all actuality, he was a fat, pathetic, lonely fluffball that had no life and a bad buzz cut. What a douchebag. I can still see that man in my eyes today. Bigg is the equivalent of that on Twitter. Now, if you recall his death threat thing, you probably wrote it off like I did and assumed it was true, because in the gaming industry, man, the gaming community is pretty fucking toxic. Death threats come with the territory. Death threats and people telling you to kill yourself, calling you a cuck, faggot, everything else under the motherfucking sun that they could possibly call you, and usually you take it in strides. But it turns out that this game dev wannabe may have inadvertently hurt the game community and didn't even know he was doing it by being a bold-faced fucking liar. Because his story was reported on in many news outlets, from USA Today, the BBC, 1 and 4 maybe, Yahoo News, Vice wrote an editorial about this asshole, CNBC ran headlines about this dick nugget. This dumb bastard, in all of his, I can't even think of a word that truly fits the situation. Who wants to pretend to be a fucking dev at EA? EA sucks. They destroy fucking good publishers. They kill game franchises. They ruined Mass Effect. They put out Titanfall 2, which was a good game, in between Call of Duty and motherfucking Battlefield 1, purposefully. It's like saying you want to work at McDonald's and you aspire to be a fry cook the rest of your fucking life. It doesn't make any sense to me. This dude is a grade A fucknut. So his inadvertent douchery led to the gaming community once again looking horrible in the eyes of mainstream media and people who don't game, probably thinking we're all assholes that send death threats every 5 seconds. And I'm sure some politician will use this as a platform one day. Basically, the journalist at Kotaku went through the trouble of actually speaking to several EA employees, cross-referencing shit, going through the details of LinkedIn and Facebook, reaching out to Bigg personally, and he's become convinced that Bigg doesn't actually work for EA. In fact, he sent this guy several messages since yesterday, and this morning, Bigg has changed his Twitter profile to remove all mentions of EA. So essentially, the jig is up, the troll has been caught, and it's time to find another bridge to live under. Also, EA themselves can't confirm that Bigg even fucking exists. When reached for a statement, EA said, "We take threats against our employees very seriously. Our first concern is ensuring the safety and support of our people. And since the reports first surfaced, we've been investigating this internally. At this time, we're not able to verify this individual's claims of employment at EA, nor the threats made against him." So, this fucking son of a bitch most likely made up the death threats. Can you believe it? Talk about a notice me daddy on epic proportions. Like, this is nuclear level notice me. To go as far as to lie about working at EA, and then lie even further to say you received death threats to take some sort of heat off of EA's Battlefront. This guy is what I call the ultimate shill. This is like what Crap Gamer probably aspires to doing, but he can't pull off because he's too stupid. Fuck you, Gundam. I love Crap Gamer. 4K makes you a better gamer. Crap Gamer 2017. So anyway, I mean, Big Sheen is the ultimate shill. This is just like the Church of Xbox. You know how those people sit there and they'll tell lies about the Xbox One X to say it's as good as a 1080 or 1080 Ti. Because for some reason, this entity that they love is more important than the truth. It's more important than facts. The only thing that matters is their opinion and the world's perception of what they want the world to believe of something they hold so dear. Which in a way is a form of psychosis or mental instability. Simply because, I should know, I go to therapy. I know a lot about mental instability, except mine is awesome. You have no idea, dude. I am a master of avoiding my misery. I'm gonna give classes one day. How to defeat depression by living within its darkness. Tell-all book from Gundam and Tony Robbins. Big Sheen's tweets seemed bizarre and unprofessional coming from a real employee of EA, which we can all attest to be true, because I've seen some of Big Sheen's tweets. They made no fucking sense. His biggest point where I came into knowing he existed was when he was fighting on Twitter with people about Battlefront 2, telling everyone that the Reddit poster was wrong, and then they're like, well, explain to us why is the Reddit poster wrong? And the guy never had an answer. He just wrote bullshit, you know? If there's ever someone who deserved to be kicked in the dick, it's this guy. Should have known something. I bet I like surfing and MMA, classic rock and cars, fine whiskey and beer. Opinions expressed are mine alone, not my employer's. He didn't have brains enough to delete that part from hashtag we are EA, hashtag game dev, monolab at EA. Didn't this guy say he was an accountant or some shit? How does that make you a game dev, you fucknut? Jason Schreier has made a heroic move, simply because he didn't take this at face value, which is amazing. Even I made the mistake of not digging deeper. But then again, I had a woman yelling in my ear, so I couldn't do my own investigating. He did more investigative work than all of the major news outlets. Not one of them bothered to look deeper. They're just, here's a new story. Gamers are threatening to kill a game dev over the Star Wars Battlefront 2. Good news, good headlines. So we're up in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In today's news, more of those shitty ass little liberal gamers and precious snowflakes have threatened a hard-working Republican game dev. This article also highlights many pointless conversations from this guy, proving what a douchebag he is. Telling people you need to not worry, man, bro, I work at EA. I literally get dozens of hate mail, messages every week, several a day.
No. Oh.
Ow, nobody knows who the fuck you are. Nobody was thinking about Big Sheen till he started claiming he was being threatened. You know? What a fuck. He even goes as far as to tell someone it's hilarious, I'm getting shit on about wasting my life at EA from a kid who still lives at home. Irony is strong with this one.
Douche chill.
You gotta have some balls on you. You gotta have some balls on you to pretend you work for a company and shit on someone. Talk about living the fantasy. The level of mental gymnastics this motherfucker must do when he wakes up and gets out of bed and washes his face and shit and brushes his teeth and it gets on Twitter. After the whole fallout of this guy claiming he was being threatened and killed, which I should have known something was up because he was the only game dev from EA saying this was happening. I would think if it was going on, it would have affected more people, but I took it at face value. Big Sheen created his Twitter account in early 2015, and almost immediately he began claiming he worked for EA, cultivating relationships with fans, even some employees of the company, like Battlefield community manager Jeff Batter. Some EA employees have also followed him on Twitter, especially in the wake of Monday's tweets about death threats. But out of the 100,000 tweets, god damn, this journalist was working. Big Sheen didn't appear to offer many specifics about his identity or role, except in one tweet where he posted a photograph of where he said it was him and his wife, which they didn't share. If it was me, I would have shared it so people could find him and throw tomatoes at him on the street.
Move this man!
He would often tweet at people telling them to come say hi to him on one of EA's campuses in Redwood Shores. But after searching for several hours, I could not find any case of him actually meeting or interacting with anyone as an EA representative. Earlier this year, he tweeted frequently about EA's June event, EA Play, but he then told others on Twitter that he had not been able to attend. There were some contradictions to his tweet feed, too. In July of 2015, Big Sheen said he had started working at EA a few months ago and couldn't get any time off. But last week he said he was about to hit his 4th year anniversary, which would indicate that he started in November, December of 2013. Nice. Now, this exposed what a douche he is simply because he was congratulating someone who actually worked at EA DICE for 13 years. My god, what a hard-on he must have for EA. I can understand pretending you were a fireman to impress a woman or something. Because at least, like, you're trying to get a woman to notice. Is it the same thing, really? I don't know. For some reason, that feels more admirable to me. To pretend you're a fireman to meet a woman. Like, women don't like you much. It's like, oh, I'm a fireman. Oh, my God. You know, before I just thought you were a douchebag. But now I know you're a fireman. And then you gotta go to fucking your local fire department and steal an outfit. So the chick can come to your house and see like a fireman hat on your kitchen table. Oh my god, he'd be like, as a fireman. I thought he was lying at first. Now I might actually allow him to take me out to dinner. And I'll spend his money. I need to stop before somebody gets mad at me. Let's see. The journalist couldn't identify Bigg Sheen's identity on Twitter. He started trying to connect the dots elsewhere. Bigg Sheen had a YouTube and a Google account, which seems like a good lead. But in it, Bigg Sheen did say that he was a data entry analyst for Electronic Arts. How does that make you a fucking game dev? My god. Maybe he started off as a data analyst in his fantasy, and then he graduated himself to game dev after Star Wars Battlefront hit. Long story short, if you want, you could read this whole fiasco unfold. But in general, it boils down to this. Bigg Sheen is a big fucking douchebag. He is exactly what's wrong with the gaming industry as a whole, or the gaming community. He's a perfect amalgamation of it. Much like Crap Gamer and Colt Eastwood are two guys that are so hell-bent on the Church of Xbox. Much like if you go to some forums, there are people who sit there and tell you that the Xbox One X is as strong as a 1080 Ti or something like that. These people that are so hell-bent on protecting a brand or company they love that they become psychotic over it. They live some sort of twist, they live in an alternate reality in their mind where nothing's more important than protecting the honor of said company. And what's weird is the fact that if you don't work for EA, why would you defend them or the game? You know? There's no pony in the race for you. There's something wrong with you as a person. It really is. Some believe this guy was paid recently by EA. This is a huge conspiracy theory, I know. But some believe that he was trying to get the heat off of EA for all their microtransaction bullshit, which EA is in a lot of trouble for. So much so that EA's fucking Star Wars Battlefront was such a colossal fuckfest that Belgium's Gaming Commission has launched an investigation into Overwatch and Battlefront 2. Good work, EA. You fucking shit the bed big time, and I'm glad for it. I'm fucking glad. I can only imagine what sort of crazy shit Bigg Sheen would say if he wasn't currently in Twitter hiding. And the funny thing is, there'll be no ramifications, no repercussions for him lying. You know, for him basically creating a whole story for the mainstream media to run off of to make the gaming community as a whole look like shit. There's gonna be nothing to happen to him because of this. He's gonna feel ashamed. You know, he'll lose the followers he has. He'll probably lose some of those EA friends he made. And that will be that. There's actually a dev for EA that commented. This is great. Zach Mumbach, I believe. I probably got his name wrong. He wrote, the important part is that a Danny tweet made it into the article. I've worked at Ears for 17 years and have no idea who this is. I'll be at Ears tomorrow if he wants to meet up in person and prove he works here though. We can post a pic together from the Great Lawn at Bigg Sheen 66. And I assure you, Bigg Sheen has not replied to that, obviously, because now he's fully exposed. Someone who actually works there is like, I'll post a pic with you, fucknut. This fucking dude. I bet he probably killed himself. Oh well. This story is actually aggravating me so much, dude. I seriously got to shit. So I'm out of here.